Welcome everyone to the 2020 GMHC Fall Gala. For years, the GMHC community has come together at GMHC's annual gala to honor outstanding individuals who have made significant contributions to end HIV and AIDS, and to spend time with our incredible supporters. This year, though we will not be able to gather in person, we remain committed to uplifting and acknowledging the heroes among us, as well as honoring the partners that keep our vital programs and services running. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce GMHC's CEO, Kelsey Louie.
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Louie, and I'm the proud CEO of GMHC. While we are saddened that we can't have our gala in person this year, I am thrilled that we're still able to hold this virtual program to honor three extraordinary people: Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and Billy Porter, for their dedication to ending the HIV/AIDS epidemic. My sense of pride is unwavering, even during this year of the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, my sense of pride has grown as we confront head-on yet another epidemic, that of racial and social injustices that affect so many in our communities. I am incredibly proud of the staff at GMHC who, under such challenging conditions, continue to provide life-saving services every day. GMHC has responded swiftly and nimbly to these intersecting epidemics. In mid-March, even as we were forced to close our building operations, we quickly set up new initiatives to care for our clients, especially those living with HIV and AIDS. Many of our clients struggle with having enough to eat. After we closed our building because of COVID, we launched GMHC On the Go, a meals delivery program to ensure that our clients continue to receive food and nutritional support. So far, we have delivered more than 40,000 meals to our food insecure clients at their homes. We have also seen an increased demand for mental health services. People ages 50 years and older, especially long-term survivors of HIV and AIDS, struggle with higher rates of depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and loneliness as they age. These issues have only been amplified by COVID-19. And at the same time, a light has been shined on the reality that Black people are and have been brutalized and murdered by law enforcement. 60% of our clients are people of color, many of whom have experienced racism and discrimination. Our work to end the AIDS epidemic will continue to focus on fighting discrimination, prejudice, and social injustices. Black lives matter. And at GMHC, we are committed to the actions that those words require. GMHC lost some of its own heroes this year. They include our co-founder, Larry Kramer, who was a passionate revolutionary challenging the authority of the status quo. We will miss Larry and all those we have lost this year. Their legacies will continue to inspire us daily in our work. The economic impact of COVID-19 has been felt across the nonprofit sector here in New York City. We've seen cuts to government funding and significant reductions in revenue from our fundraising events due to restrictions on in-person gatherings. Your support is deeply appreciated and will help us persevere through the uncertainties of COVID-19. Thank you for your steadfast support and for standing by us during these difficult times.
To really walk in through the doors of GMHC and see the hallways empty, come into the U space and nobody is sitting here.
Not having the clients in the building and not having the interaction is, I think, the hardest part for us.
The staff is not really here in full capacity.
Normally there's music and laughter, young people, looking for work.
We've been closed since the second week of March. We've had to get a little creative about how we will reach the community and continue to provide a much needed service in the age of COVID.
It's nice to come here on a Wednesday when we are open and to see what has been our home for a very long time. And when I walked in, I got hugs from staff people that I haven't seen for a while. But normally those hugs are also clients. And I miss the clients, really.
As the city has kind of gotten safer and we've been able to kind of transition our services, we're offering our grab-and-go food distribution, which we did today.
We had a client that broke down in tears when I brought them their food because they saw that it was so much. No one else was doing that.
We have a huge team downstairs working tireless just to make sure that these people do get a bag of food to take home.
These clients are so appreciative of the food they're getting.
And that keeps our clients going so that they're safe, they're healthy, they're feeling stable emotionally and physically.
My favorite part of being able to come in on days when we do have distribution is to see that that community is still kind of alive and thriving, just in a different way.
We're just hoping and waiting for some sense of normalcy, like to be able to open and come back so that our team members can come back, so that the family can come back.
This year's honorees represent our country's leading voices in the fights against both HIV/AIDS and COVID-19 pandemics. From science to advocacy to activism, each of them has made extraordinary contributions toward a healthier and more equitable world. Their dedication and commitment inspire all of us here at GMHC. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has been a tireless advocate for people living with HIV/AIDS since she was elected to the U.S. Congress in 1987. Throughout her tenure, she has advocated for community-based HIV/AIDS care and accelerated development of an HIV vaccine. She also has helped to expand access to Medicaid for people living with HIV and to increase funding for the Ryan White Care Act, the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, the Minority HIV/AIDS Initiative, and other federal initiatives vital to people living with or at risk for HIV/AIDS. Tonight, we couldn't be prouder to recognize her decades of work as a champion for our community.
Hello. It is a privilege to send warm virtual greetings to the tireless leaders and advocates at the 2020 GMHC Fall Gala. Thank you, Kelsey Louie and the entire GMHC team for your years of committed energy and activism to achieve the dream of an AIDS-free generation. Since the earliest days of the AIDS crisis, GMHC has been on the front lines fighting to care for those affected by HIV/AIDS and to demand action to end discrimination, fund research, and save lives. That is why I'm honored to be recognized by GMHC this evening, particularly alongside two heroes in the fight to end HIV/AIDS, the outstanding Billy Porter and the brilliant Dr. Anthony Fauci. Congratulations to you both on your well-deserved recognition. For all of us, ending this epidemic is more than an issue. It is an ethic, a value, and a mission. Over the last 40 years, the energy and advocacy of GMHC, as well as countless friends, allies, and survivors, has helped advance progress by passing the Ryan White Care Act, increasing funding for research, strengthening investments in prevention and care, and establishing PEPFAR and the Global Fund. Thanks to those efforts, we have made great strides in lowering infection rates and improving outcomes of care. Yet, we still face real challenges in the fight against the enduring stigma, as well as continued disparities in access to treatment, prevention, and care, particularly for young people, communities of color, transgender women, and those experiencing homelessness. Working together, we can overcome remaining barriers to progress and finally find a cure. Again, thank you, GMHC, for this great honor. On behalf of the United States Congress, thank you for all you do to ensure those living with HIV/AIDS have the support and resources they need to thrive as we continue our mission to banish this scourge into the dustbin of history once and for all. Thank you.
What if the age of HIV were over? What if everyone made treatment and prevention a priority? If everyone knew their status? If we came together to silence the stigma around HIV? This is what we live for. We live to innovate new therapies, working relentlessly to help people live longer, healthier lives. We stand side by side with the community, educating, advocating, not stopping until everyone is free from HIV. This is what we live for. We live for a day without fear, a day without stigma, the day when HIV is in the past, a day that's getting closer. This is what we live for. For the scientists who make discoveries. We live for everyone with HIV, for everyone who loves them, for the healthcare providers who care for them. All of this is what we live for.
Hi, I'm John Mallow, chair of the GMHC board. It's been quite a year, so I want to start by saying thank you to everyone in the GMHC family. Thank you to our amazing staff, our board, our donors, our sponsors, our honorees, and most of all, to our clients. The work we do at GMHC and the positive impact it has in the world take all of us together. It's a giant team effort. Now, more than ever, we are grateful for your support. Because of the work done at GMHC and many similar organizations over the years, living with HIV isn't what it once was. Viral suppression and prevention are possible, but they require access to mental health care, stable housing, food security, and of course, appropriate treatment. Making all of that possible for everyone impacted by HIV is what we do at GMHC. In the face of a new pandemic that has wreaked havoc on all of our lives, interrupted our economy, and threatened all of our health, our work is now more needed than ever. The COVID-19 pandemic has also significantly threatened our funding sources in many ways. Events like AIDS Walk and the Gala became virtual, and the future of government funding is uncertain, to say the least. Fundraising is therefore also more needed now than ever. So I ask you now to be generous and help us uplift the lives of our clients as we continue the fight against AIDS. GMHC was there at the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, and we intend to be there at the end, hopefully with you by our side. Thank you.
Now, Tony, Emmy, and Grammy award-winning actor and performing artist, Billy Porter, is the first openly gay Black man to be nominated and win in any lead acting category at the Primetime Emmy Awards. Porter won his first Emmy for his role in the acclaimed FX show, Pose, which delves into New York's underground house ballroom culture of the 1980s and 90s during the height of the HIV/AIDS crisis. Throughout his career on stage, screen, and behind a microphone, Billy Porter has championed the civil and human rights of marginalized communities. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Billy Porter, for your brilliance, your work, and above all, your advocacy.
Hey everybody, I would just like to first start by saying how humbled I am to be receiving this prestigious honor from the GMHC. I always talk about how I am first generation post-civil rights movement. And then I came out at 16 years old in 1985, and we went straight to the front lines to fight for our lives during the AIDS crisis. And, my activist training came from organizations such as Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, ACT UP, and GMHC, to be specific. I learned how to fight. I learned how to show up. I learned how to be an ally. And I have to say that it has been one of the greatest gifts of my life to have a platform and be able to use my platform and my powers for good. So this is an amazing honor. Kelsey Louie, I'm gonna give you a shout out because you have been turning it out at GMHC, and I'm just so proud of you, and I'm proud of the leadership, and I just thank you for all of the things that you do, and please know that I am always here, and I will forever be here as long as I have breath in my body. God bless you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Billy, that was so great. Thank you.
Oh, and I forgot to be honored with these other honorees. I mean, come on, to be uttered in the same breath as Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Dr. Anthony Fauci. I am beyond humbled. God bless you all. Thank you.
Free and confidential walk-in HIV testing is something that, like, throughout the city is very difficult to find right now.
But they know when they come here, they can feel comfortable about discussing this.
HIV is still spread at an alarming rate, and it's primarily by people that don't know that they're positive.
I'm in my 30th year of being diagnosed with HIV. GMHC was the first organization.
We get calls every day.
And then the conversations begin. Hey, where can I get tested? Hey, do you guys have condoms here? Oh, I'm hungry.
Because we cover a lot of the major issues in life: housing, mental health, substance use.
And we would have these long calls where individuals would just be dumping everything, that they were feeling inside. Men, as they're aging, saying, Michelle, this is the first time I'm really getting a chance to address some things that I've been walking around with for many years.
Mental health and substance use go together hand in hand. I've seen a lot of overdosing in communities across the board.
One of the women who was enrolled in this program, she was sharing with me. She said, Michelle, I beat AIDS. I beat HIV, and I'm scared that this COVID is gonna come take me out.
Seeing people, the numbers of people passing away can affect folks.
I'm so grateful to have played a part in offering support.
We have a program that can now be able to work with our LGBT identified aging population.
No one else was doing that. But we had our staff come together.
Even if it's just to speak to you for 20, 30 minutes on a phone call once a week, it's connection during a time of isolation and fear.
In the early years of GMHC, we were helping people to die with dignity. And now we help people to live with dignity.
This honoree needs almost no introduction these days, and we are so grateful that he was able to take time from his incredible schedule of speaking truth about the COVID-19 pandemic to be with us. Dr. Fauci is perhaps known best to many younger generations for his role on the front lines of the government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But to those of us who have been a part of the fight against the HIV/AIDS epidemic, have known and worked with Dr. Fauci for decades. Dr. Fauci, who once sparred with protesters and AIDS activists, developed a deep relationship with our community and became one of our greatest advocates, notably collaborating with activists to change the ways in which the government conducted drug trials and increasing access to experimental HIV treatments. Dr. Fauci, we are deeply grateful for your tireless support and relentless adherence to the truth.
Warm greetings to you all from Bethesda, Maryland. My name is Tony Fauci, and I am the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the National Institutes of Health. I am humbled and deeply grateful to be honored by Gay Men's Health Crisis tonight. This honor is even more special because Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Billy Porter also are being recognized. And so, as you can see, I am in very good company. To be honored by GMHC is especially meaningful to me because I have followed your good work and advocacy for nearly 40 years and have witnessed your extraordinary efforts, providing help and hope for folks who often have little of either. We frequently speak about ending AIDS. No one has done more on the ground than GMHC in terms of moving us to a time when new HIV infections are rare and all people living with HIV live long, healthy, and productive lives. We're not there yet, but we are moving quickly in the right direction. Serving 10,000 people in need each year is an extraordinary feat, but that is what GMHC does year after year, with medical care and HIV prevention services, as well as what we often call wraparound services needed for a healthy, safe, and dignified life. In this regard, GMHC has been a pioneer and model of how to reach people in need with nutritious meals, good housing, job training, mental health counseling, substance abuse treatment. The GMHC model is one that should be emulated everywhere. My journey in the field of HIV/AIDS and that of GMHC have certain parallels. In 1981 and 1982, when we were seeing our first patients with AIDS at the NIH Clinical Center, my late dear friend Larry Kramer and others were establishing GMHC to raise money, assist people with AIDS with their day-to-day needs, and provide much-needed information to the community and healthcare professionals. This work has continued to this day, and along the way you have skillfully adapted as the demographics and challenges of the epidemic have changed. Almost 40 years later, both GMHC and NIH are still at it. We have made considerable progress in treating people with HIV and helping people avoid infection. However, we still have much to do in terms of reaching everybody in need with the fruits of biomedical research. There clearly is an implementation gap, one that GMHC has worked tirelessly to fill. GMHC's work serves people most impacted by today's HIV pandemic. As with our HIV patients in the Washington, D.C. area, GMHC clients are disproportionately poor people of color, many of whom have struggled with homelessness and keeping their HIV suppressed. You reach people who have slipped through public health safety nets, and for this, I applaud you. COVID-19 has added a new layer of challenges to persons living with HIV, physically, psychologically, and financially. I want to thank GMHC and your outstanding CEO, Kelsey Louie, for your efforts to help your neediest clients in this difficult time. Thank you again for this great honor, and together let us embrace the GMHC mission statement to fight to end the AIDS epidemic and uplift the lives of all affected.
To Billy Porter, you are a true icon. Thank you for your endless advocacy for people of color, the LGBTQ community, and people living with HIV and AIDS. To Speaker Pelosi and Dr. Fauci, you are both heroes. And we are so grateful for your courageous leadership for all people in this country, even in the face of great odds. To our host and member of GMHC's Board of Directors, Javier Munoz, your brave and abundant activism continues to energize all of us. And thank you to Manny Rivera, the chair of our Consumer Advisory Board, and John Mallow, the chair of our Board of Directors, for your constant support and partnership.
I decided to work at GMHC because GMHC saved my life 5 years ago.
You know that when you come in here, you're gonna get perfect service, that you are going to be walked through all of the services that you need.
And we come together with you in collaboration so that you can continue to be you and, again, live the best of life that you can.
Like, I feel good at the end of the day because I know I always thrive for the clients so that they can have a better lifestyle.
GMHC is a wonderful place and it's a safe space. I feel very comfortable here.
It's very important that the funding continues to come in for these programs. A lot of times there's nowhere else to go.
You know, when I first started working here, one of the things that I really considered is what can I do for my part? What drop can I put in the bucket to contribute to the legacy of GMHC and who we have been in the community from the start?
It's always been family. I mean, basically, like I said, I've grown up at GMHC.
I don't think I would be alive today if it wasn't for GMHC.
GMHC is legacy.
GMHC is an organization of heroes.
GMHC is stepping up.
We come in every day and we save lives.
GMHC is support.
We're here. We are the GMHC family.
So I know that we could continue that legacy of support and love. Because GMHC was built on love, so.
From all of us here at GMHC, thank you for joining us this evening, and thank you for your generous support.
Thank you for being with us for this virtual program and beyond. As you've heard from our incredible GMHC team members, your support keeps us going. GMHC's Fall Gala provides critical funds for a range of services, including the agency's response to COVID-19. From GMHC On the Go, which has delivered nearly 40,000 meals to over 800 clients, and remote mental health and substance use counseling sessions using video conferencing technologies, we are grateful to all our supporters for providing the vital funds that allow us to support our clients and to help them live healthy, dignified, meaningful lives. Thank you and good night.